What is up? Kevin Hale here, doing another round of shots on this Sunday night, September 28th, 2025. Davo, Doc, Jen, and Trey are in the house. Davo, how are you,
Hey,
bub?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Doc,
Good.
Yeah, doctor in the house. This house calls on me. I know the people are out there just clamoring for some solace, so we're going to be here providing it for you tonight.
we got someone with a little bit of background. If we can kind of turn that down a little bit. Trevard, what's up, man?
what's up? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Good to see you.
That's good. Yeah.
Jen, you're making your return. Where you been?
School, unfortunately. I still have to go to class. It's a sad reality of my life. Still got to graduate, so.
We don't want to get in the way of your education, continued education. So, all right, streaming live on X, YouTube. It is the South Carolina recap, reaction, the good and not so good. A game that I think what was the spread was like what 6.5? It was
5.5.
5.5, yeah. And we started strong, but didn't finish strong. We'll talk the good and the not so good with South Carolina. We'll preview Georgia. We'll give Jenna front and center for the Georgia preview, as she will be in Athens. Correct, Jenna? You did say that, right?
Yes, I will be.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what happened in the SEC, some coaching changes. What other big game? There was the Oregon Penn State game. So, Dave, I'll start with you. Summary before we go good and bad with South Carolina. What was your overall just quick summary of yesterday's 35-13 loss to the Gamecocks?
Same old bullshit we've seen the last few seasons. A lot of optimistic going into the game. A lot of reason to be in South Carolina was pretty much the same as us as far as talent goes, as far as equality goes between both teams. And you thought that this was going to be the game that's still on the road, and apparently that wasn't the case. And that's pretty much it.
Doc, summary.
Yeah, disappointed. I'm not throwing in the towel yet, but when you see your prize fighter kind of stumbling around on the canvas, it doesn't look real good. Seems like the program truly is headed in a different direction. I'm not sure there's a way to recover from that, but as long as there's still a smidgen of hope, I'm holding out.
Trevard, you got to watch the game. What was your high level take?
It wasn't a good look to start this gauntlet of SEC games we're about to go through. So hopefully this week we can practice a little hard to get where we need to work on better and go from there.
Jenna, you.
Yeah, I think, it was a rough watch. I think the good thing about hitting rock bottom is the only way you can go is up, but I think Kentucky can still get lower, actually.
Yeah, if there's a way for us to find out, it's going to be this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I think it's frustrating more than anything because it's the same old, where it's like you feel like the talent is there and they're just not doing anything with it and something isn't clicking and just leaves you wondering, like, why? What needs to change? Coaches, who knows? But definitely a frustrating watch, especially heading into the rest of the schedule.
Yeah, we'll get into the rest of the schedule in a moment. Just a couple of kind of game notes. Davo, we had that early lead. It was like 10-7 after the first, and then within 3 plays, South Carolina converted 2 turnovers into defensive touchdowns. The fumble recovery, the interception, that pick 6 clearly turned the tide. And then the offense just struggled. Kentucky's offense just struggled from that point on. But let's look at the glass half full part. What was something good that you got? Or,
Are we sure the glass is even half full at this point? I think we've barely poured in a shot. There you go. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Not a lot to talk about, right? This segment I'll be pretty short when we're talking about the good. Obviously, the first drive was good. You did exactly what we all expected them to do against a really, really bad run defense and run down their throat. Cutter didn't have to do much on that first series. You get a touchdown, and then the defense. Sellers got pretty lucky on a couple of his passes on their first drive and came down and answered. We're like, okay, well, that's fine. And then we went down. We should have scored, but we got more points. And then that's really it. The defense held, I think, I'm not a big South Carolina fan, so I don't know how great he's been all year. But the defense held Sellers to like 167 passing yards and no touchdown. And he's supposed to be like a first-round quarterback. So, I mean, to me, that is probably going to be the end of what the good would be about this game.
Yeah, defense, I think. Doc, one thing that Davo or we didn't mention was the running game.
Yeah, I think Seth McGowan continues to impress. I think he is NFL quality material if he continues at this pace. And probably the one bright spot along with the kicking game. Our punter and our kicker continue to be fairly impressive.
Those were, I think are the good. Just it's like we're getting them just within a few sentences.
Yeah, South Carolina is a hard place to play. In fact, if I were to rank all the venues in the SEC, I'd say that's near number one. It's either that or LSU at nighttime. I think one of those. So the way Kentucky started out, I mean, they had that beautiful drive, 8 plays, 65 yards, and really came out with a lot of poise. So I thought that was going to be a good harbinger for things to come, but it was just self-destruction after the second quarter.
Trevard, give me something good.
I'd say like everybody been saying, the opening drive looked good and the running game looked good. Just we got behind too quick, so we had to switch to the passing game to try to catch up. But other than that, the running game looks good, so we can get that going and don't have so many turnovers. It's going to be a balanced game of running and passing.
A little bit more balance, right? Jen, give me something good.
Yeah, I mean, I think similar to what everyone else said, this is the first time I've seen in a while that Kentucky start the game off super hot. I think they're usually kind of like a late burner kind of team, and it was nice to see them excel really quickly out of the gate. Obviously, it didn't stay that way, but that was something good to see. And then, of course, the run game continues to lead the offense, which is always good, but like we said, there has to be balance because it's only getting harder.
It is going to be getting harder. We'll break down the stretch as well. This October coming up. Yeah, this October stretch. Trying to think anything else good. We mentioned the punter. He had a solid game. Punter U is what we're affectionately known as. Again, we touched on I thought the defense played pretty well. It was, it's hard to think about anything good. Now, even that first drive that ended up with the touchdown, there was controversy with that after the touchdown. What he did, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But Davo switch the not so good, and if you need to pull out your CSV receipt and on what you wrote on the back of it, go ahead.
So the not so good, Mark Stoops. Let's just put him at the top, right? I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit later on as well about how we all feel about him at this point. I mean, gosh, where do we start? I mean, I'm gonna take up a minute or two. I'm sorry. As Kentucky fans, okay, especially University of Kentucky football fans, right? we put so much time and effort and support in this team, right? Time in and time out, we pack Commonwealth Stadium. I don't care what they call it now. It's still Commonwealth Stadium. We pack that time in and time out, even for bad seasons. 1 second. I'm telling you, they always do this around this time of the night. So it's hard to say as Kentucky fans that we deserve a lot better because traditionally it's not like we've been a powerhouse. But like I said, from all the time and all the effort and all the money that we spent and all the cheering that we do for the team, we deserve a lot better, and that's just the most frustrating part about all this. The offense, we saw how it started, right? It started off really great, right? We all can agree with that because we just talked about that, right? And then once that happened, where Boley just got absolutely rocked, and for some reason, a big 6'8", 355-pound offensive tackle can't jump on a small little football right there in front of him. That right there is just kind of what set it off. And then you had, the return, and then the very next possession, Cutter was probably a little worrisome, a little scared. The crowd's going crazy. He throws a pretty decent ball off the receiver's hand. It gets picked off. They run it in for a score. And there's really not much more you can say about a redshirt freshman, right? Yeah, a redshirt freshman quarterback is going to do in that environment. We all expect him to kind of fall to the environment, and that's what happened. And there really was no getting back because this Kentucky offense is not made to come back from that many points down, right? So I don't know.
That's a start. There's give the rest of the panel an opportunity, and in Dave, this show is designed with kind of you being the unique person on the panel because you're the fan. You give it to us from a fan perspective, and this is where purge your guts, man. This is therapy for you. And then, we get to transition to the media part, Doc, the not so good.
Yeah, well, before we continue to pile on,
is it piling on if it's facts?
I think it is.
It's not mean or hateful if it's true.
Yeah, I think it is because the tendency after a loss and after you see kind of the season self-destructing before your eyes is to adapt this gloom and doom mentality. And you always want to continue to look for the good aspects of it. And if we really want to try to dig down deep, I thought the effort was there. I didn't see anybody quit last night.
Oh.
You hear that they're working hard in practice, and evidently I haven't heard anything to the contrary. The Willie Rodriguez, he had that big catch also, so it looks like the tight end aspect is continuing to play dividends. So, it's not my job to pump sunshine into the team, but I do think it's important to not just quit altogether.
Okay, and from a player perspective, Trevard, I'm not seeing that yet. Unless you can sense it or you can feel it from your player senses, spidey senses. What's your piggyback on that, and give me your not so good.
Say not so good is we couldn't pick up the blitz as far as their defense, and anytime you have a young, inexperienced quarterback, the DC's gonna blitz him until we can pick up the blitz, or he can know how to audible out of it, or get the line to pick it up. But we couldn't block the blitz all night, so therefore they're gonna keep blitzing until we pick it up. And from that, if you ever heard of it's a copycat league or anything, you ever heard of that?
No.
So what that is, if we can't stop a play the whole game, then the next team, they can run that same play, see if we adjusted to it. So same when we play Georgia probably gonna run those same blitzes that we couldn't pick up against South Carolina, and keep running those until we pick it up. So I guess from that, we couldn't pick up the blitz, couldn't stop the blitz. So from that, we got pick 6. He threw a pick. and a fumble recovery. So hopefully, from that standpoint, they can adjust this week as far as blitzes and just run blitzes all week. So offense can adjust to it.
Yeah, and how do you beat the blitz? You run the ball.
Yeah, but the thing is, we got down so quick. We had to pass the ball to try to at least get back into the game.
Yeah.
From my standpoint.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we what was the score actually? Wait a minute. After the two defensive South Carolina defensive touchdowns, what was it? 17-10? Was that what?
Something like that, but I know they got a total of like 21 points off turnovers.
For the and
So
that was the other thing. I thought they potentially they looked like they just abandoned the running game too soon.
yeah,
That was my take, but
It did seem like McGowan kind of disappeared for a little while.
He
You just
did.
didn't hear his name or number called any at all. And through it all, the defense was still hanging tough in there. We talk about Sellers making a couple of lucky passes, but I like to think that it was those receivers that kind of bailed him out. The South Carolina receivers made a couple of neat catches that really kind of sustained those drives. And then Sellers himself, I don't know how he did some of that escape magic. Kentucky had him and just let him go.
good tackle. Yeah. And another thing, it seemed like our receivers couldn't get open because he would step back and just look left, right, look through his reads, and somebody open, so he had to scramble.
Well,
so not sure if they.
I gotta ask. Jenna, let's get Jenna's something not so good from Jenna, and then we'll circle back to the receivers. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit here and be like nitpicky of like what technically went wrong and what, little mistakes were made. But I think overall this game was kind of just proving the point that there's something wrong with this program that's like deeper than just not being good at football or not having the resources or whatnot. I just think that, you wonder maybe if we weren't so intentive on getting older guys from the portal to be our starting quarterback, and we spent the last season developing Cutter more, that he would have been more prepared to head into an environment like South Carolina, because he only ever played it at Texas and at Florida, and both of those were horrendous games for him, obviously. But it feels like it's like this repeating circle of it's just being set up for failure one way or another. And I do think was most interesting to come out of this game is this is the first time I feel like, especially thinking about like Devin Leary and Brock Vandagriff, where no one was blaming the quarterback as much as they were blaming Mark Stoops. I think people were so heavy on saying Brock Vandagriff sucks and he was a terrible quarterback, same with Devin Leary. But it felt like the narrative this time was Mark Stoops cannot coach. There is something wrong and it's deeper than the players. So that was interesting to see. But overall, it was just a rough watch. And, we know the defense has been playing incredible, but it comes down to if the offense can't do anything, that defense is going to get tired. They're going to get worn down. They can't be, perfect if they're playing 90% of the game in the offense. When they have the ball, they can't do anything with it. It kind of kills that momentum too.
Yep. Davo, or is it, I can't remember, whoever, maybe it was Trevard that touched on the wide receivers. Yeah, it was Trevard. Dave, watching the game, I'm losing my goddamn mind watching, Cutter, what I thought was just holding on to the ball too long. And I can't imagine that it's 100% on the receivers not getting open. If he sits back in the pocket and has time here to think about what he's going to, I don't think he can make that decision. I think a lot of his, for me, from what I've seen of him, Dave, is that a lot of his passes, his completed passes, are quick passes, or passes that he's a one or two step drops or whatever, and then making the play. But anytime he has to sit in the pocket and try to find a receiver, he can't. He's not doing it. And again, I can't. It can't be the receivers every time for him. For the passing game. Davo, your take.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of that just goes back to what Jenna said. I mean, as far as like taking care of Cutter in the offseason, rallying around him and getting him ready to go, it's really hard to expect him to know every inch of that playbook, still this early in the season and going up against SEC defense on the road, right? He obviously got super rattled. There was obviously little check downs here and there that he could have hit, but, he did what a young quarterback would do, and he's going to take 3 steps and he's going to launch it. Right, and that's exactly what we saw. But you've also seen, and that's why I believe the tight ends have been open a lot more. I keep saying the tight ends are better receivers than what our receivers are, and that's crazy to say because the tight end is, like everybody says, the tight end is a safety net for the quarterback, right? Because the tight ends are always matched up against linebackers and stuff, and they get open a little bit more than receivers do. And at the end of the day, Cutter is going to just play like a freshman. Right, because he's just not ready yet. And the crazy thing is, I still believe he's our best option. So it's going to be hard to blame Cutter for anything, and it's going to be hard to blame the offense in general because Cutter didn't really have time to learn the entire offense.
Well, that too, and then speaking of time, how much of yesterday was due to the offensive line? It wasn't their best.
Oh, I mean, hell, there was times where Cutter could have got the ball, took not even a 2-step drop, and then boom, he's on his ass. I mean, his blind side was just coming left and right. He would try to run off to the right or whatever, run off to the left, and then he would just get chased behind and get absolutely drilled. So yeah, it's just blame Cutter all you want, I guess, and a lot of the Cutter bully haters for some reason, but it's not 100% his fault. Should he hold on to the ball for 4 or 5 seconds whenever he has time? No. But whenever he does have time to let it go, he needs to look around a little bit more and not just chuck it down the field.
Doc, stay with the passing narrative, the passing game that includes the receivers.
I think there's been a lot of pressure put on Cutter, myself included. He's supposedly – when you saw him take on the starting reins, this was supposedly going to be the way that the script was going to be flipped. He was not so much the savior coming in and saving the season, but he certainly was a breath of fresh air. And I think when you're able to stare reality in the face that this isn't going to happen overnight, that it is going to take a little bit of time and games, and it's still relatively early in his career, and we just do have to be patient. But I think the fact that the reality that this guy isn't just going to come in here and start throwing touchdown passes right off the bat was a little bit sobering, and I think really quashes a lot of hope for the rest of the season.
Trevard, staying with the receiver narrative.
I say,
is it the receivers? How much of it is the receiver?
Not really sure how much is the receiver. Just not sure if they're getting open on the DBs for the quarterback to throw him the ball. So usually that happens, just try to run screens or some type of crossing routes, rub routes or whatnot to get receivers open to help the quarterback out.
Is that the play calling? I mean, is that totally on the OC for not getting players in the right positions?
I wouldn't say that. If the quarterback's back there patting his hand looking for somebody to get open, they should, at least if it's deep, come back to the quarterback and run left and right to try to get open or whatnot. But say just run, say crossing routes or some type of routes to help the receivers out to get open. If you just running vertical routes, that's not really helping too much.
No, and it's very alarming because again we got the really meat of the schedule coming up, and where defenses are going to be a lot better. Jenna, just staying with the passing game narrative. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, the two big things for me, I was very unimpressed by the offensive line. I think last season, it was very clear the reason that Kentucky struggled so much was because of the big blue wall. And this season, it seemed like it kind of turned a corner through the first 3 games. And then it was just very underwhelming last night. And I think the other problem is that the wide receiver room is just so big. And I think they're kind of dealing with the problem of quantity over quality, and they're trying so hard to throw people in to try and figure out what's working instead of just honing in on, a few that Cutter can really work well with or have good connections with, and just getting more reps with that. I think they're just trying to make too many things happen at one time, and with a quarterback as young as Cutter, it's just not working. And I don't think it works in general for anyone, but especially with a player who was just given the reins of starting quarterback and is still trying to learn the playbook fully. Throwing in different kinds of wide receivers every so often is just too much for him to, get consistent on and have good reps with.
Our friend Jay Hayes had some good takes. Let me show. I think they're good takes. What was y'all might want to rematch where our receivers were open. Boley didn't give much look. He's waiting for one. Yeah, I'm with you.
So that makes sense.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. I feel like it comes with experience, where it's just the more comfortable you are looking for those other options, just comes with time. Because I'm sure in his head he is, okay, we're running this play. He's looking for that one play it was called, and doesn't really have his eyes on the full field. And I just think that's something that comes with reps and experience that he doesn't have yet.
But according to Jay, he learned bad habits from the guy who retired. Okay. He also mentioned, I forgot about this one. I don't know if you put this in the good or the bad. Stoops tripping over the chains. That's being funny, of course. All right. That's enough of the passing game. Let me see. I had some notes here. Let's The staying with the not so good. Davo, you're speaking up from a fan perspective this evening, and it's clearly wearing on you. But the truth is, it's wearing on BBN as well. I mean, halftime, you're on social media, you're seeing all these people. Now, granted, it's on social media. I don't even know what the percentage is. Not everyone, not all of BBN is on social media, but a lot of the people who make the loudest noise, they are, and they're done. They're done, and you can talk about offensive coordinators. You can talk about bringing Eddie Graham back. I saw that quite a bit. But through all these, every year when shit happens where, you got the OC issues, you got player issues, there's still one common denominator in all this, Davo. It's the guy who tripped over the chains.
Yeah, it's a guy up top. We can talk about all that bullshit at the end of the day, right? Yeah. We can talk about what if we had this coach, what if we had that coach, right? And then we look down 2.5, 3 hours south in Nashville, Tennessee, and you got Vanderbilt University, who's just basically the nerds of the SEC and is supposed to not care about athletics whatsoever. Number 17 team in the nation, and has a hell of a shot going down to Tuscaloosa and beating Vanderbilt in back-to-back years. I mean, beating Alabama in back-to-back years. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that is a real possibility. And then you go 4.5 hours north and you look at fucking Indiana University, who's not supposed to care about football in any way, shape, or form, and they're running roughshod. They just beat the number 9 team in the country last Saturday by like 55 points. I mean, what is going on here? To say that it cannot be done at a consistent basis at a school where it's supposed to not be done at a consistent basis is bullshit, right? It can happen, and it starts up top. And obviously up top is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, sitting up top of a program getting paid $9 million a year for bullshit results. Okay, and that's exactly what's happening. Kevin, you're gonna get my blood pumping. I got to go to bed in a couple hours. But that's exactly what's happening. It's not fair to the BBN at all. I just said that earlier. We've spent too much time and too much money into this program for bullshit results. Right? At the end of the day, be upset, be pissed off, make your voice heard. Stay optimistic if you want. Don't take it out on the players. Take it out on the fat ass who tripped over the down marker on Saturday. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, he deserves it. He gets paid all this money, and it's time. It's time. I believe somebody put on Twitter that if everybody in the state donated $9, that it would be more than enough to get his ass out of here and feed his bourbon company as well. So it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Rant over.
No, this is you're amongst friends, brother. Therapy. I'm looking at some other stats. The offense has now failed to hit multiple offensive touchdowns in 11 straight power conference games. And the schedule gets tougher. It's brutal. Now, Jen, I'm going to let you start or start with you. But, the next 4 games, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, 3 in the top 25. Auburn for what received votes, but also while I'm thinking about Dave, you touched on Indiana, Vanderbilt. Let's not forget the team that's here in my town. It's cyclical with us in Louisville. We go on our little run with them. Now they're on a run, but they're trending up.
They got a good coach.
And so Georgia's up next. Jenna, when we did our predictions, you were the only one who said we'd take care of Georgia. 1, do you still stand by that? And then 2, when you say no, tell us why.
Well, I'm not one to go against my own word, so I'm actually not going to say no.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I still believe this is the most beatable Georgia team we've played in a long time. That was kind of the whole reason why I picked Kentucky in the first place, is because I think if there was a year to beat Georgia, it would have been this year if you're only looking at the Georgia side. Mm-hmm. And once again, the way their schedule has gone, Kentucky kind of gets the better side of it because they just played Alabama and lost. And then after, they go to Auburn for their rivalry game. So Kentucky's kind of in a good spot where it's very easy to overlook them. And now coming off a loss to South Carolina, there's an even bigger chance of that happening. I'm not going to sit here and be like, we're going to, beat them like by a lot. But I still stand by my statement that this is the most beatable Georgia team we've played. And if we were going to do it, it would have to be this year, because it's just kind of that down year where they've officially lost every single player that they had from their back-to-back natty teams. It's the youngest team they've had, the least experienced quarterback they have. It would have to be this year if it was going to be any year. Will it happen? Probably not, but I still think it's the most beatable team that Kentucky has played in a very long time.
Doc, what about you, Georgia?
Yeah, Jenna, I'll disagree with you from one aspect. I think the fact that Georgia lost to Alabama last week will have them so fired up that they'll want to kick Kentucky's butt by about 50 points. So it could get ugly very, very quickly. But, this whole idea, it's the fact that Kentucky is trending downwards so quickly. You look on social media, I don't think there's anybody on there who gives them a flipping chance of winning any SEC games. And I'm not quite ready, Dave-O, to write Stoops' obituary just yet. But on the other hand, if he doesn't win another SEC game this year, then I don't know how anybody can continue to support him during all this.
I think the biggest problem with Stoops that I've noticed, I think half the frustration comes from the fact that, people, UK Athletics, Mitch Barnhart, wants everyone to take Kentucky football seriously, wants to erase the basketball school narrative. But at the same time, all over the country, we're watching programs fire their coaches because they're not performing. Arkansas just did it today. And I feel like half the frustration is, how do you expect BBN or whatever to really believe that you want this team to be the best when you can't do what other schools are doing? And when you have a coach who isn't meeting the standard, why is he still here? And I know his buyout's insane, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to the fact that you can't expect people to invest money in this program, buy season tickets, invest in the NIL, whatever, if you're not going to go to the root of the problem that everyone sees so clearly. And I actually think it's a Mitch Barnhart problem more than anything, because, he's the one who signed the lifetime contract kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you can't expect people to believe that Kentucky wants their football program to be a good one in the SEC when they aren't doing what so many other schools are doing.
You all have heard the adage that all good things must come to an end. And you saw this with Kentucky basketball, with John Calipari. No matter how well he did during those initial years, at the end, it just got stale. And Kentucky needed a change. 15 years SEC head coach at Kentucky, just too long. The same could be said for Stoops. He did great, those 2 10-win seasons, but 12 years is a heck of a long time, and sometimes it just gets stale. So I'm not saying that I want Stoops gone. Well, maybe I am. What I really am saying, though, is that I think we had all agreed that he had enough equity that he at least deserved this one additional year to see if he could make the change. It doesn't look like he's going to do it. So if he doesn't do it, I'd love to see him leave on his own terms. I don't think he'll do it. $9 million a year is tough to walk away from that standpoint. But hey, we saw John Calipari do it. I really hope that he's going to be able to fall on his sword like a good samurai and just leave graciously.
But, I mean, see, that's the thing, though, Doc, right? I mean, that's the thing. You said it. We're talking Kentucky football here, correct? We're not talking Kentucky basketball. Right? I understand the similarities behind, what Calipari did, and we're asking Stoops to kind of pull off the same trick, right? But the thing is, with Kentucky football, we're not asking for a ton, right, Trevard? I mean, you know how us fans are. You played for us you put up with our bullshit. But we just want competitiveness, right? At the end of the day, yeah, the 10-win seasons every once in a while, that's pretty sweet. We're not expecting to get a playoff spot every year, right? But please just be competitive, for the love of God. I mean, we've lost how many SEC games in a row now?
Been a lot.
11 or something like that.
I think 11. Yeah.
Just be competitive. I mean, people get so pumped up about seeing the teams coming into Lexington. Oh yeah, we get to see Florida, we get to see Tennessee this year. But guess what? We're going to lose. That's exhausting, right? I mean, just be competitive at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually a point I was going to make. Is I think the problem is when you set a standard like Stoops did. You set a standard, you've proven that you can bring Kentucky to this level. People are going to hold you to that standard. And even with Kentucky, he's gotten so lucky because they don't even expect that standard consistently. They just want bowl game eligibility. They just want to compete well in the SEC. I mean, I'm comparing it to Kalen DeBoer, where it's he's been trying to live up to the standard of Nick Saban, and people are putting that pressure on him kind of thing. And it's when it comes to Stoops, it's all Kentucky fans are asking for is to not win any games in the SEC, to be, what is it? He's 2-14 in the last 16, something insane. Mm-hmm. Where it's he's being asked the bare minimum because Kentucky fans don't expect much from Kentucky football, and he's not even reaching that minimum. And that's where the problem is lying.
And we got Alabama and LSU in back-to-back games next year. Just.
Oh yeah, that was
back here.
The year when it's is it 2028 where it's at Bama, at LSU, at Tennessee, maybe 29. That's just mean. I'm not gonna lie.
And what are you going to do if Stoops is still cashing in that $9 million check in 2029?
Drink a lot of beer.
A lot of beer. That stadium might be half empty on a consistent basis by then.
I think it will be by the end of this season, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think it's Doc Trey. I think it's very realistic. We get shut out of SEC play because who's worse, us or Arkansas? Arkansas fired their coach.
Bobby Petrino just took over Arkansas. They're going to get better.
Yeah. So,
yeah, go ahead, Trey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Trey.
I say, not sure if it's more the coach or the players, but he's making $9 million, so he should be able to motivate his team every game to go out there and play. And if the players don't want to play or they give up during the game, just replace them with somebody else. So hopefully that'll put some fire in them. And the players, as far as playing hard.
Yeah.
In fairness to Stoops, and I'm not a Stoops apologist, really, I'm not, but during his heyday, there were times when you felt like that Kentucky was competitive against anybody. There was a chance, and now it's almost reverting back to the olden days where, for example, last night when Kentucky fell behind by more than 2 scores, I don't think anybody felt like that they had a chance of coming back again. So I think it was that sense of hopelessness that's starting to set in that really is a dark cloud that is hovering over the program right now. People need to have hope, and it's quickly slipping away with the way the team's playing.
And with the schedule they face, you can't.
Yeah, that's not going to change, in these next few years. It's tough. And Stoops, he's always slobbered all over the SEC. Whenever he mentions how tough it is, it's all, you try to coach and win a few games in there. It's not going to get any better.
That's the thing where it's like he's done it before, so why can't you do it anymore?
Well, here's my argument when it comes to what Stoops has done, during those 10-win seasons. Is it fair to say, and it's not his fault, but the reality is that the SEC was kind of down.
Yeah.
Kentucky finishing second in the East, Florida wasn't, Florida wasn't Florida.
Yeah.
We were handling Vandy, which is not happening right now.
I think Tennessee was hit or miss. South Carolina was too.
We had one. We beat Mississippi or Tennessee one year, was big, but they were down.
NIL wasn't the thing.
That was a COVID year, right? Exactly.
Transfer portal wasn't the thing.
Wasn't the thing, and so the SEC now is, how, collectively, from top to bottom, is how the nation and the media, all the pundits view the SEC as one of the top leagues. We're strong now. The league is strong.
The only way I give Stoops kind of the benefit of the doubt is that with NIL and the transfer portal now, it's no longer that the best of the best are concentrated to just Alabama, just LSU, just
Right.
Florida. Now, because schools are paying directly, it's spreading all over the place where the best players are literally everywhere. That's why we see so many teams in the top 25 in the SEC every week, is because now the players, who might have gone to Alabama in a normal year, well, they're going to get paid more by Auburn or Oklahoma or whoever is investing more money and has more rich donors. So it is harder to pull off those wins against SEC teams because you're seeing the talent literally spread out to where every single team in the SEC is playing with some of, the top 20 players in the country. But at the end of the day, when you literally cannot beat a single one of them for as long as he has or had as inconsistently as he has, can't keep getting excuses,
Especially when you see programs like Indiana flip the script in 1 year, or even South Carolina. They had a horrible year before last year.
I had no idea Indiana was real. I thought last year was so a fluke. And then when I, saw that game against Illinois, and I was like,
well, they are ranked now. Let me share this. Where's my share? Share. So this is what's happening. Let me get this design.
I think Ole Miss at 4 is still questionable.
Yeah, well, I mean, LSU is a solid win, but geez, I mean, look at the times. Miami's back. Indiana. What was it? Florida State. Florida State. That they did
Texas
lose.
Tech hasn't been that decent in a long time.
Yeah.
Texas
A&M.
NIL money.
I mean, look, this is your top 10. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, 5 SEC schools, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Man, yeah. Just look at this. Our next round of games. All these, they're all here. Ugh.
Even Mizzou's finding a way to compete. That's the problem. It's not just like, it's like Mizzou's going 5-0. Why can't Kentucky do that? It's Mizzou.
Yeah, I mean that's the frustrating part is when you see the what I would consider mid-tier SEC schools have
Mississippi
success.
State.
I mean, not just have success, they're cracking the top 25.
I think Mississippi State almost beat Tennessee.
They should have. There's like goal line stop.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's right now, Davo? Who's the top 4 SEC teams right now, Davo?
I guess off the top of my head, it would be Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss right now, and probably LSU. A lot of people thought Texas would be up there a whole lot, right? And I mean,
not yet.
Jenna. Yeah, and they're kind of dealing with the same thing we are, young quarterback, except a little bit difference there in DNA, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I believe it's probably Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Ole Miss.
Okay. Doc, your top 4 SEC teams right
Yeah, I can't disagree, although I'd probably have to put Vandy's offense up there right now. Boy, what a surprise.
Trey, your top 4 SEC?
Let's say Georgia, Alabama. I think A&M look good. And probably Ole Miss.
Okay. Liff, your top 4?
This hurts my heart to say. I think Oklahoma's up there. I think John Mateer is really a legit quarterback, unfortunately. I also think A&M's probably up there too. Not a fan of either of those teams, but yeah, I'd also agree. I think Vandy's easily in there, and yeah, I'd probably either Bama or Ole Miss for sure, but I think it's kind of a toss-up. I think that it's almost like the SEC right now is kind of in like a tier where it's like S tier, and then it just goes down to like C tier. Like there's not really an in-between right now. It's kind of like the best of the best, and then like
you got your top dogs, and you got the rest of the team that just kind of beat the shit out of each other every week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, our guy Chris Beasy, sending condolences out. He lost his grandmother over the weekend, and so from us to you, Beasy, condolences, prayers, all that stuff. Hope you're doing well. But he put out a tweet that I wanted to, or post, I guess X post. I was going to bring up if he was here, but since he put it's a public post, so I want to share that one. Get your all's take.
I did see that.
We did put a couple of them there, but I'm going to focus on one.
He was getting a little canceled on BBN Twitter.
Oh no, and I mean, I'm not. Y'all seeing? Is this is the one? Is this what you're? Is this the one?
No.
No. Okay. Well.
Okay. There was like, unfortunately, I think every single one of his posts, he kind of got it.
Yeah. Well, let's start with this one.
He's talking about the ACC post.
Okay, but what was who's the player? I mean, was this?
I can tell you the name that I heard, and I can't confirm it, but I can tell you the name that I heard through a few different grapevines. If you want me to share it,
Why not?
I heard it was Brian Robinson, the redshirt freshman defensive end.
So is he just on the sidelines on his phone?
I don't know. All I know is I heard that he liked a social media post, I believe, on Instagram during the game. So that's all I know. Rumors, just
So it's
rumors,
like,
nothing
wait,
confirmed.
is this the equivalent of going to get a snack from the concession stand?
That's
or
where I'm.
something?
Pretty close.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. All right, so yeah, that was one of them, but the other one, I'm not looking at it. Let me find.
I know. I was trying to remember which it was.
It was the ACC one, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Doc, I'll start with you. Did you see this post? If
No,
not,
I haven't.
okay.
Tell me, get me up to date on what's going on with that.
The post just says, I know this won't ever happen because of money, but it would make a lot of sense if Kentucky moved to the ACC. Kentucky could play in a weaker conference for football and actually be competitive in it. Kentucky basketball could play, against Louisville, Duke, North Carolina. It's a win-win situation for basketball and football, but at the end of the day, money and the SEC just means more. I know this one. He got some feedback. Doc, reading this,
it's when you really dig down deep into it, it's not a new concept at all, right? Every couple of years, this kind of surfaces, and it got so close one year actually to becoming a reality. I think there were some negotiations going on, and they were looking legitimately into moving into another conference, but nothing ever became of it. And it's just something that bubbles up every year. I'm a little bit surprised that it's a story at all.
Yeah, like I said, for better or for worse, BBN. There's a loud part of BBN on Twitter, X, and they had their feedback. Davo, when you see this, what's your take?
I mean, he's not wrong about basketball. I mean, that would be fun, but at the end of the day, ACC's top heavy in basketball too, and they're even a little less top heavy in football. I mean, Clemson is sucking ass right now this year in the ACC, and they're supposed to be the top dog in the ACC, right? I mean, it would be fun in basketball. You just play the Dukes and the Carolinas, and the Louisville, obviously, multiple times a year. But like everybody said, at the end of the day, I mean, the SEC, there's so much money in it, so leaving it would just be a little on the silly side.
Trevard, could you see Kentucky in the SEC or in the ACC?
Far as basketball, yes, but when it comes to football, not really, because like everybody been saying, the football in the ACC isn't all that great besides a couple teams. And as far as the money, SEC has way more money than ACC.
Jenna,
and I'm not sure if
go ahead.
I'm not sure if I know back then football pays for everybody's sport besides basketball, so Center SEC will help with that.
Mm-hmm. Final thoughts on that, Jenna?
I think, Kentucky's an SEC founder. I think it'd be pretty irrational to think, like, I get it. Like, I get his point. When I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense for basketball. I just don't think you're going to have like, are we really at the level of like C-Winnie where we have to like actually just leave the whole conference? Like, I don't think so. Also, I don't think anyone could ever live that down if we literally left a conference to go like play an easier slate of games for football specifically. And I think if Mark Stoops was coach, we would still suck in the ACC. So I don't even think it would be all that beneficial, to be honest.
I mean, you mentioned Clemson. I think it was Davo. You mentioned Clemson, but that's because Miami, Florida State, Louisville,
apparently Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, it's Davo has run his course and.
Well, Virginia's having one of them, random years that Kentucky's had, right?
Fair.
They're just having a great year. They'll win 9 or 10 games, and then they'll probably go back to winning 5 or 6 or 7 games next year. And that's all we ask.
Yeah, but I'm like, I think thinking of Kentucky football and Virginia football being on the same level is kind of the problem in the first place. Because it's like,
But unfortunately, that's the
where it's
unfortunate
like
truth.
SEC versus ACC. SEC should be seen on like this whole other level.
The power of BBN, guys? This is why. Right here. He's trending.
Yeah.
He's been trending since
For like 24 hours.
at the end of the first quarter of last night's game.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Okay.
Jenna, are you really aware of how bad Kentucky football really is or has been? I mean, traditionally, it's always us and Vanderbilt formats of the SEC.
Not as like historically. I'm not aware of how bad they were before I, started applying to college and actually thought I was going to go here. But, I'm aware how bad we are. I don't think it can get, like I was saying, I think we're at rock bottom, but I think Mark Stoops can take us below rock bottom.
Jenna, whenever you move back to Austin, eventually, will you still be a Kentucky football fan?
I never really was a Kentucky football fan. I've always been such a Texas fan.
Or will you still be invested and involved in watching and keeping?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure, like, I'll come watch games and stuff, but it's definitely like there wasn't much for me to cheer for. Like, we've won one SEC game since I've been at college, so like there hasn't been much for me to cheer for. So I don't know how I'm supposed to, like, become a fan.
That's a good point.
Well, last and final question: what color will you be wearing in 2 weeks whenever they come to?
Well, I will be working, so probably black. But I do have a split jersey that my dad custom made for me. That's Texas and Kentucky. It says Kentexas, I think.
Kentexas.
That would make more sense than Kentucky.
Textucky, yeah.
Textucky.
But it says Kentexas. I wore it to the game last year in Austin. Everyone was very confused, so that was always fun to talk to people about.
And just a reminder, one of you all will know this. What is Stoops' record after bye weeks?
It's 6-11 now.
6-12, right? I think it's
it's and just a reminder.
That bye week before Texas.
There is a bye week before Texas. Yes.
Yeah.
Chalk it up.
Yeah. And looking at the Georgia game, the spread as of right now is what?
Like 50.
21.5, I believe. Last time I saw it, 21.
Wow.
21.5, yeah. What was you saying?
Generous.
I think it's going to be
literally. I would literally put it in like the mid 30s.
Right now, I would put $100 easily down.
It's going to get that up
and give the points. Yeah. Take Georgia. Good. Who's actually tonight has been he has been the sunshine pumper tonight is Doc.
I'm saying let's let it play out. Hey, look at the Reds for that matter. How many times during the course of the season have we all said they are done? Put a fork in it. They're out of it. Anything can happen.
And that's why we're going to beat Georgia.
Yeah. There you go.
For the record, in case you were wondering. Jenna.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But then again, I've also experienced rock bottom being a Texas fan when we were going through the whole Herman.
What's rock bottom? What's rock bottom for Texas? 6
Yeah, exactly. Explain that.
Went like 3 and.
Did they have a sub 500 season?
I know. Oh yeah, when they were going between Charlie Strong,
yeah.
Tom Herman. They had Casey Thompson.
I forgot
Casey
about
Thompson at quarterback. Oh, it was bad. And then Stark's first 2 seasons, I think one he barely made 500. The first one he only had 4 wins too. So I know what it's like to be at a rock bottom of a program, but I'm also used to them getting better eventually. So we'll see.
All right. Kentucky football ad nauseum tonight. Trying to keep it at the hour. We're about there. Let's just go to final shots and then we'll take it home. Davo, final shot.
Final shots, look at the positive. The games are new next week, so we get to get it over. Start your day drinking. Get as drunk as you can, as fast as you can, and just keep your fingers crossed and sit on them for 3.5 hours and see what happens at the end of the day. Also, shout out the Kentucky volleyball for keeping our spirits up and already running roughshod through the SEC. Thank you for doing that at least. And shout out to the Cincinnati Reds for at least making the playoffs. I understand that we got to go play the Dodgers, but that's okay. At least we get it. At least 2 more games of baseball to watch. So that would be my final shots.
You know, I'm happy the Reds are in the playoffs, but I'm probably as equally happy for the Mets, the money that they spent.
Didn't they spend like $780 million on Juan Soto, something ridiculous?
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. Well, that's his overall contract, but I think this year's salary is in excess of it's over $300 million. I mean, I would say maybe 350.
Whenever Ellie De La Cruz becomes a free agent, I believe he's due like 10 years, like I think it's like $855 million is what he'll be due.
See, that makes Mark Stoops' contract look like pocket change. Sometimes you just got to put it in perspective. We could owe him $800 million.
Is the Crafts back in play? I mean, is Doc is who steps up to help take care of the besides a GoFundMe for BBN? I mean,
the Crafts are spending $20 million, $25 million on a ham every year for the Kentucky State Fair. So,
yeah. Doc, anything?
Yeah, I didn't know. What about all that money that Kentucky got from this new arrangement with the NIL collective that switched over to what is it?
BBN.
Yeah, BBN United or whatever. Didn't they get a windfall from that? That could cover it in and of itself. But if not, then I'm more than willing to fork out my $9 for the GoFundMe. And
right. Is that a recurring $9, like every month or something?
No, just a one-time $9 payment. If the whole state of Kentucky were to do it, is the stat I saw.
Mm-hmm. But then is the Tulane coach our next guy then? No, never mind. I don't want to bring it up. We'll cross that bridge later. Doc, final shot.
I'll stick with the Reds. I just want people to continue to keep hope. I mean, look what happened with Cincinnati. They're in the playoffs. Let's wait and judge this Kentucky football season till it's over. And it ain't over yet. Stranger things have happened. Keep the faith.
Trevard, final shot, sir.
I guess people around the Lexington area. Keeneland starts this week. So get out there, bet on some horses, and watch some football for this Saturday. So hope the players go out there and hopefully they find some type of heart and play hard against Georgia. So we'll see how that goes this week.
I mean, Jay said, can you stick a for sale sign in his yard? All right. Lift, final shot, please.
My final shot is but I cannot wait to be in Athens when Kentucky beats Georgia, and I'm going to rush the field all by myself.
All by yourself. That would be the most magnificent.
And I'm going to take a picture in the middle of the logo, in the middle of the field, and I'm going to make my personality for the rest of my life.
And then we'll come bail you out of jail.
Well, it's going to happen, so it's fine. My other final shot is Kentucky is a women's athletic school. Shout out women's soccer. They upset Alabama this weekend. Volleyball is obviously kicking ass because we're pretty much a volleyball school. Yeah.
I do probably need to open this show up a little bit more other than basketball and football. Probably.
basketball will be starting in a month, so
Yeah.
you can always look forward to that.
Well, we definitely got basketball coming up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kevin, if you kick Kentucky football and men's basketball off of the program, then you won't have any listeners at all. It really is amazing. I mean, when you cover all these other accessory sports, it's almost like you're very welcome. They appreciate you being there. But with Kentucky football and men's basketball, it's just, whatever. We don't need you. Yeah, we'll put out our own media stuff.
Yeah, and there's a stat out there too of what is Stoops' record. Oh, here it is. Since that infamous tweet that he put out about, to challenge the basketball school thing.
Oh yeah.
Stoops, since that tweet, 20-22 overall, 7-19 in the SEC. So I think that tweet came out in 2022. So yeah.
Does he get fired before the end of the season?
If we are losing, if we have not won a single game going into like Louisville, like there's just no way.
I mean, if the margin, that if we're just getting beat the hell up every week,
we just lost really bad to probably the second to worst team in the league.
Well,
I don't
third
see him
probably.
getting fired.
If they're gonna fire him, they have to fire him before Tennessee Tech. Let the new coach Tennessee Tech, and then have at least one win.
Have some momentum going into the Louisville. That's one way to do it.
If it's Barnhart's decision, then it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It is
Not during the season.
I think we need to put a for sale sign in Barnhart's yard instead.
Yeah, big picture, he's probably done more good than not with the other programs. Maybe. All right. It has been this has actually been a little exhausting talking Kentucky football all night. And then we didn't have Buzz here too. I can only imagine his takes. So people in the chat, thanks for hanging. All the comments. Jay, good to see you. Appreciate you. Michelle, we got Ann. I'm going to give a quick shout out. Michelle, Ann, Maria, Jared, thanks for the conversations. All right, Georgia, Jenna, if you can make it next Sunday night, please do.
Oh, I'll be there. Don't you worry.
No, be here is what I'm saying.
No, I'll be here.
Okay. All right, just saying. All right.
After we win, and then, I'm just going to.
It will be the Jenna, it will be the Lift show next week.
We're going to have to name the show after me.
We will. All right. Wishing everyone a good week. All that good stuff. We'll come back next Sunday to recap the Georgia game and see where we're at. Go from there. And hopefully it'll be I told you so. All right. I'd like that.
Me too.
All right.
Be a lot more fun to talk about.
Yep. Everyone have a good week. Good night.
All right.
Peace out.
See y'all.
Okay. Later.